All right, guys. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How are you doing today, boys and girls? Let's go with today's lesson. We're going to learn about the CP, the MV, and the rsync commands in Rocky Linux. Basically, the basic understanding of the terminal commands and the Linux file structure. So let's start with the CP and let's look at an example. We're going to take a look in how to use it. How does the CP command function? Let's take a look at different examples here, and then with the MV command and different examples, and finally with the rsync command and different examples. So let's go with the class. Welcome to today's class on copying and moving files in Rocky Linux. We'll cover three main commands: cp, mv, and rsync. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to efficiently copy and move files and directories on your system. So let's start with the first one. Let's go with the cp and let's start adding the first command here. Let's see if we get any error messages or not. Let's take a look and see the error message that we're getting at this moment. No such file exists in the directory. We have to create the file first because it doesn't really exist. So we are going to use the touch command, touch, and then file1.txt. And if we want to add information, we can use nano file1.txt. This is a test file. Test 1, test 2, then test 3, then test 4, and Control O, Control X. And with the cat, we will be able to see information on it. Now, if we execute the previous command with the up arrow, we will be able to finally successfully complete this command. And see, there it is. We have added. If we go to cdtmp and ls, you see the file command there, file1.txt, and the information is there, successfully copied. We copied the information correctly. So let's continue with the guy. Now we're going to copy another file. You can copy multiple files. Let's run this command and see if we getting the error message. Because it could be possible that file 2 doesn't exist and we keep getting error messages. So let's run it again and see the error message here. It says that their files are the same. Okay, let's go to the previous file, previous directory, and paste the command again. Okay, no such file in the directory. Okay, so we need to create it with the touch file1.txt. We need to use this sudo at this moment because it's asking us to do it with the sudo command. And then this other one, ls. We have those two commands. Okay, now it looks like we are in the directory. So we are going to move those files to the home. So it will be like mv file2.txt and file1.txt. We're going to move that to home and these are server. Okay, let's see what is happening. That I don't see the directory. Okay, I'm going to move to English for a moment. I want to do something real quick. Okay. pwd. Okay, that is the directory, but we tried to move those files there and I was not allowed to do so for some reason. Let's try to do one at a time. So let's do mv file1.txt to home and then CSRM server. And we have to do it with the sudo command, And then let's move now the file 2. Now there's something that I want to do actually at this moment, cd Okay, there is. I want to copy the information because if we do a cat file, file1.txt, no information is there. cd tmt ls. I want to copy this information. Copy the file 1.txt in the following directory: home, rsync server, and then the file name that I have there is file1.txt. Remember that sometimes we are asked to use the sudo command, and I was able to successfully copy the information. Now, if I go there, cd, and then home, and then rsync server, ls, and I do a cat in the file1.txt, I will be able to see the information. Now let's copy this information in file2 with the cp command, file1.txt to file2.txt. Remember that we need to use the sudo because sometimes it will ask for that. And hopefully now we will be able to do so. Let's take a look. Cat file.to.txt. Okay, the information is there. Let's continue with the step-by-step guide and see what else we have important. In order to copy directories, we can use the R option, -R, which stands for recursive. So we're going to do the following. We are going to copy a directory in the temporary folder, in the temporary directory. So let's go with it. Let's just paste it here and let's see what happens. It doesn't really exist. So remember, with the sudo mkdir command, you can create this directory. And if we run the command again, it successfully was completed with no issues. Now, if we do a cat, then tmt. In fact, if we do an ls space -l, and then //tmt/ and enter, we will be able to see it there somewhere. Okay, there it is, dear one. It was successfully completed. Let's just do an ls alone. And you see it there. We have the previous file that we have moved. And we have the directory, the dear one directory. Let's continue with the steps by steps in this guide. Now we are going to do the following. The V-V, as in Victor, enables verbose mode, showing each file being copied. So we're going to copy this option and see if it successfully completed. Let's run it at this moment to see what happened. See, at this moment, we are copying information. We are copying file1 text to the TMT, and it shows us the information step by step, how it's being sent. Now the U option updates only if the source file is newer. So let's copy the information and see if we get an error message or not. Let's paste it there, and it really didn't show us any information because I think we have the file previously added there. But let's try something different. Let's bring the file2, which is this file2 is in home, and then CSRM, and then CSRM server, and then file2. It should be there. Let's try to bring it there. Now let's do an ls, cd tmt, ls, and we have copied successfully the file2. Let's use the recursive again, as we previously did, but in this case, I think it was the verbose. Let me just double check there. Verbose. Yeah, let's use the verbose again in the file2. Okay, see, it is showing information, but it looks like since we have previously added the file, it really didn't do anything because the file is already there with all the information. So it really didn't do anything. Now let's learn to move information. We already went over a little bit, but let's continue learning. We are going to copy this and see if it works or we keep getting an error message right now. looks like the file already exists, so it doesn't really do anything, but let's do something different. Let's go ahead and delete the file, rm-r, and then file2, file1.txt, and file2.txt. See, the files now are deleted. Let's go to the other folder. If we go to the home directory and we do the following, mv file1.txt, and we move this to the temp directory. I keep saying file, but it's actually a directory. We are sending the files and moving them to the directory again. So let's go to that tmt directory, and they are there once again. After we delete them, we add them again, we move the files. It's very interesting how we have that power to do all those changes in our operating system. Let's continue with the step-by-step. Now we're going to copy the dir directory, but we are going to do the same. We're going to do rm-r, then dir1, and then let's go to the home. Let's go to the home directory. I'm going to stop sharing my video. Basically, this one, you can just look how to do it has a name. It has a name I don't really remember at this moment, but you could just look in your keyboard. It should be next to the one, especially if you are with the English keyboard. But if you are with the Spanish, you will have to do some Google research and figure out how to get this symbol. All right, so let's do the following. Let's copy the directory. Is there? So let's move that directory mv-dir1 to the tmt directory. Now we keep getting this error because at this moment we have to execute the sudo command to complete this change. If we go to the tmt, we should be able to see the directory there. And there it is. In fact, we can move those files to the specific directory, like file1 txt. Let's move that to directory 1. Remember that we need to use the sudo command and the file2. Let's do that for file2. cd. If we execute ls that dir1, we should be able to see the information, but oh, there it is. We are already here, so we don't really have to do this slash, only ls space dir1, and the files are there. Let's do a tree. It really didn't work that much. Tree, let's do a tree, and then dir1. There it is. We have the files and the directory successfully. Let's continue with the step-by-step guide, and now we have to move file1 to file2. Move to do a rename. So we're going to rename file1 with file2. Let's do it. Let's do this command and see what happens. Let's go ahead and do it right now. cd and then dir1. We are there. We have, at this moment, we have, let me just clear the screen. We have file1 and file2. If we paste this, move file1 to file2, and we type a yes. Remember, we have to use the sudo command. And now let's do an ls. We change the name of file1 to file2. And now thing from file1 should be in file2. But I don't think we really copy information. We only change the name of it. Because if we execute a cat file2.txt, the same information is there. See, we didn't change any information. We only changed the name of file1 to file2, but it looks like file2 was already there. So what it does is that it deletes completely the file1 and replaces it with file2. And since it was already there, it can only be once with the same name. So it will only leave one with that name of file2.txt. Now, what happens if we want to have a copy? We type cp file2 and .txt, and then file1.txt. Remember to use the sudo command. And if we type ls, we see the file1 there once again. Now, MV, what happened if we try to move that to the TMT folder? Let's do it. Let's do it one more time. Let's just paste it and do it. Remember, we have to use sudo because it just keeps getting that, asking for that. With the verbose, we see the file is being sent to the TMT. So if we go to if we type ls tmt, that has to be done with the slash. We see it there. The file once again is the temporary folder in the directory, in this directory. Now let's continue running some commands. The synchronization command is used synchronizing files at directory. It's more advanced and efficient for large data files. So let's run this to see how it works. We want to become familiarized with the command. Let's run it. And it really didn't work for some reason. We keep getting this error. No such file or directory. All right, let's go back to the temp, cd temp, and let's try to run it there once again. And now it finally worked. It is syncing the information in the temporary directory. Okay, good. We were not in the correct folder or directory. That's the reason, because we keep getting those error messages. Now let's use the R option to do the synchronization, to do some synchronizing. Let's just copy this command, paste it there on the terminal, and then it is doing basically the same, synchronizing the directory in the TMT folder or directory. Let's continue with this. Now we're going to use another command, the AV, for archive mode and verbose, and it will show us the progress of this synchronizing. And let's do it. Let's do it so we know how to do and complete successfully this step. Let's paste it there. Let us clean the screen for a moment so you can see it clearly. And look at that. We have 95 bytes received, 17 bytes, a total size of 48, a speed up of 0.43 seconds there. It's very interesting, all the options that we have in the operating system. What does this command do? Well, it will show us the detailed progress while synchronizing the dir1 to the TMT. So we are synchronizing information.